Ready? Okay. Hello. Good morning. My name is Michael Verdi, and I'm going to talk to you, about how we support the entire world at Mozilla. So I work on the Sumo project, which is short for support.mozilla.org. Sometimes it does feel like wrestling. Yeah. So I am probably going to forget everything that I wanted to tell you this morning. So I'm the content manager. There's a lot of pieces involved in this, so let me try to explain. So this is a support project for Mozilla. We have a whole bunch of products, some of which I hope you've used, like Firefox is the big one. We also have Firefox for Android, kind of just really starting out, and coming soon, later this summer, Firefox OS, a whole operating system for phones. So that's like 450 million people all across the world. Most of them are the Firefox users. Hopefully, we'll grow that number, right? And they'll be using Firefox for Android. They'll be using Firefox OS. Fun fact, literally on every continent, including Antarctica, we have Firefox users there. Like 80 different languages, plus or minus a few. So how do we do that? So we have on our support team, there's like 13 paid staff people. I think we have 3 developers. They're technically a different team. Just like 2 years ago, we only had 4 people working on the support team. So how we do that, so to not really, hopefully this isn't like a spoiler, but we write a lot of documentation, we put it on the internet, and then we localize it into lots of languages, like 80 of them, right? But the real way that we do this is with a bunch of superheroes, right? Like these guys. So this is about 600 or so Mozillians from a couple of years ago. And at really any given time, there's about 200 plus so people working on Sumo, on the support site, in some form or fashion. So we have a lot of, basically we have a posse. That's the only way to get it done, right? This is what I wanted to tell you, though, about that. So unlike, I guess there's different kinds of superheroes. We're not like the Superman kind of superhero. There's no heat vision or anything like that, or flying. It's more like the Batman, cool technology kind of stuff, right? So the first thing that we do, we try to whittle the problem down, right? So the first part of this, before sometimes writing documentation, hopefully, so we try to do some things proactively, right? So what we do is we set up a big force field around Planet Firefox, right? We're trying to ward off invaders. So I'll warn you now, I think this is it, but I'm just going to use all the metaphors, right? So, my job is like superhero, Fox, Batman, fighting sumo warriors and aliens from space. I'll just use them all. So we do a couple of things. We actually have a kind of sub-team of our support team, user advocacy, and they do things like, hey, let's try to fix things before they're problems, so we don't have to document the broken stuff, right? They say, hey, how about let's get this bug fixed, or why don't we rethink this? Like, for instance, we've had trouble with certain add-ons, so we come up with ideas about how do we make that not be a problem anymore. Let's have that be awesome instead of a problem. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. And then another thing that we do is let's take the documentation to the user. Like, instead of making them come to the website and figure this out for themselves, what if we show them stuff when they need it? I'll talk more about that in a minute. And then everything that gets through that force field, that's the reactive support. And I'll talk about that too in a little bit. So, okay. So education. So here's a few things that we're doing now, and I'm going to tell you about some stuff that we will be doing. So over there on the left side, yeah. All over the Mozilla website, when you go to read about Firefox, what does it do, why should I download it, and stuff, they describe it. It's a marketing website. But everywhere, hopefully possible, we link to support documentation. So that has video tutorials, specific step-by-step examples, how do you accomplish things. So we put that stuff, we try to connect that to our marketing all the time. So, it's this other one. This is just last week. We launched Firefox 20. So when we pitch stories to news sites, to bloggers, we also give them support documentation. Like, so this video about the we changed the way the download manager works. So I made a video about it, and that's in our support documentation, and then that becomes part actually of our marketing, and gets linked on websites. So like, I don't know, some ridiculous 60,000 people watched this little video about the download manager last week, which is pretty nice. So now they don't even need to, if they were confused about that, they don't have to come to the website anymore. Okay, so advocacy, I was talking about those guys too. So besides, like, it's good to fix things ahead of time. It would be nice if we could, make software that never broke, that never had problems or bugs. That would be super great. But also, another thing we want to do is make it easy for people to recover when there is a problem. So one of the first things that we did was I noticed we have a lot of documentation about troubleshooting with like lots and lots of steps. Okay, from the really simple, let's restart your computer. Let's, open Firefox. Is it still broken? Okay, now what, right? And 8 or 9 steps later, maybe half an hour or 45 minutes of troubleshooting later, you could narrow the problem down and fix that one little thing. And it was a lot of work. And so we said, why can't we just automate this? Can we make a button that does all of this at once and probably fix the problem in a few seconds? And so we did. Now, it's tucked away in a place you'll never find it. So unless you come to the support site and we tell you, hey, go click the button, and that'll fix it. Which we found, by the way, fixes like about 80% of the time when you go, what's the problem? Oh, click the reset thing, that'll fix it. Like 80% of the time it really does, totally fixes it. And it takes like 3 seconds to do. So we said, hey, we should offer that in better places. Like, on Windows, people try to reinstall Firefox all the time. And they complain to us, I reinstalled Firefox and it didn't do anything. And because it doesn't actually do anything, except just puts another copy of the files on your